pedal to the gas, we're watching it all. Covering the courtroom, big case or small. Laugh when we can, cry when we must, but it's all real talk, you can count on us. We're not the pros, just fans who care. With popcorn in hand and a comfy chair. And every twist, we're right there. Together like we're all in the witness chair. This is the Broken Baker, where the trials come alive, where the chat is wild and the vibes survive. We're watching the worst of what people do, but we keep it light, yeah, that's our truth. It's the only place for crime, and it feels just right. We bring the justice talk into your night. So hit that stream, don't miss the call. At the Broken Baker, we cover it all. Oh yeah. We're just flaming with the view, but we ask the things the world wants to. Digging through the facts, side by side. Even when it's dark, we bring the light. No clickbait, no fake feels, just truth and the highs and the reels. With the chat that roasts and rise, we're just here for the case and the vibes. This is the Broken Baker, where the stories unfold with a smile in the heart, even when it's cold. Yeah, we cover the bad with a wink and a grin. Where the real talk starts, come on, jump in. It's the only place to be, can't you see? For trials and truth, it's BBTV. The Broken Baker, where the trials come alive. Yeah, we'll be here, trial after trial. Yeah.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you might be, and welcome to a nothing stream. This is there's no real trials out there, and I've been looking around to see what is coming up. Hey, Tessia. And the only thing I have seen that might start next week is a case that I don't think is really a good case for a YouTuber, because that is with a attempted honor killing, and I think that can get a little heated in the chat if people wants to mix religion into it, which it kind of is when it is a honor killing. But I was also thinking, because I have been bored like you have been all day long, that my channel has grown 16,000 subscribers or something like that since I since I showed the Bradl Yawn case. I still think it's a good case, and I was thinking we could revisit it, but I don't know. Well, because I'm still being called a racist because I didn't believe they proved that they weren't fighting over the gun in Atlanta. So imagine if Whitey stands here and says, well, according to Surah 253, the cow, I believe that is. Most of them are called the cow. I don't know why. This is something. I don't talk religion. I make fun of them. I have had all of them cut. It was nice. I was riding to I was about to go to the hairdresser, and my youngest daughter and I, we don't talk as much as the oldest one, because we got divorced right when she was born. And she called and talked for an hour, and I was like, she doesn't normally talk this long. So I thought, oh, I'm driving to the hairdresser. I had to drive around for half an hour because she was so excited to talk about her new job. So that was a great start to the day. The Shannon Burgess thing. Well, I was thinking about mentioning that, but there's a couple of things that is a little back and forward in that one. Hey, Debbie. Thank you. No, it's Texas, maybe. Yes, please. Please, not Brian Walls. I can't take any more Massachusetts. Well, you're going to get Massachusetts on this stream. Hello, Zachariah. And I've been watching YouTube because I've been bored all day. I hope everyone in Massachusetts and Texas and New Mexico are safe because there's a lot of flooding, and I hope you all and all the ones you love are in as good a condition as they can be. And I hope everyone is doing great because there's a lot of rain coming down in your part of the world right now. No, she is actually, she started working as we call them handicap helpers with a lady who has ASL, ALS, and she has been struggling a little bit with what she wanted to be. So now she's a personal helper for a severely handicapped woman, but is loving it. And even though she always thought it would be a little, she is actually getting to it like fish in the water. So that's just amazing when your kids find something they like. Hey, Julie Fraser, happy birthday. Why does the night before always seem like a great? Oh, did you do a little of the drinky poo? Well, hero at night, hero at day, as my old boss said when I was an apprentice. But it's your birthday. You are allowed to spend the next hour with your feet up and listening to me. And remember, get some electrolytes inside your body. I found out I'm 27 now, so alcohol hits me a little bit harder. But electrolytes is what is the best for my hangover. That's sweet. After my mom died, was baffled, absolutely baffled by the phone call, just giving him all my news. My mom usually onboarded that information and passed it along. Yeah, I don't talk to her mom, but we don't have as close a relationship as the oldest. But I'm hoping that as she gets older, we grow closer. ALS, yes. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Oh. When you find a woman, will you buy her paper towel and her favorite candy at the checkout at the grocery store? That's an uncivil law dick from Ricada stream the other night. Well, if I'm finding a woman, I am buying rope, ether, and a shovel because I'll have to hide the evidence after. You may go talk to the expert about the floods at 3 o'clock, which will be in 2.5 hours. If you do that, Zach, let me know. I'll promote it out on the Twit and everything so people can hear you. And thank for all the work you've been doing. I don't know because Huntington's is like having Parkinson, Alzheimer's, and ALS. I actually think my body has ALS, but I don't listen to him. Hey, Rolling Stone. No, but electrolytes are your friend in your age. Exactly. And sometimes they come when the kids grow older and find out that, maybe he's good enough. Hey, Kelly Didi. Well, let us know when you're 20 or 21 so we can buy you your first drink. Hey, Casey at Bet. Welcome from Florida. Well, a lot of women say, oh, I want jewelry, but what do you need more than anything? Toilet paper and sanitary products. So a real man knows what his lady wants, and that's soft toilet paper, some of those scented paper towels for your nose, and some sanitary products. Don't tell me you wouldn't think, oh, that's a catch. Oh, you bring me a Tiffany ring? Well, well, she's a little bit younger than that. My brother's grandmother had some form of one of those sclerosis, muscle wasting disease as well, and they were both checked if they had the genes for it, because if they had kids, they didn't want to pass it on because it's primarily given to the women of the family. So they didn't have it. Hey, Krista, how are you doing? How are you? It's been a while. You've been hiding. But you didn't come to hear me have a nice day with my kids. Well, not Sue, because she hates it when I'm happy. But there's a few things I thought we could look at today. Why the hell? What? This is... No, that's not the one. That's the one? No. This is the one. Because, first of all, we have Florida v. Sarah Boone. Notice of inquiry. And I'm disappointed and I'm angry. It's not handwritten. This is not a real Sarah Boone letter. Comes now Sarah Boone, appellant, and respectfully moves the Honorable Court to please provide status of her court-appointed appellate attorney Joshua E. Adams, Esquire, in addition to her inquiry as to the status of her pending appeal. Another lawyer who doesn't want to talk to Sarah Boone. This woman has all the non-luck in the world. In support, the appellant states the following. An order was filed with the 9th Judicial Circuit by the Circuit Court Judge Michael S. Kranick, appointed appellant counsel on December 8th. I can't make it bigger than this. Court-appointed appellant counsel Joshua E. Adams has sent a single basic introduction via inmate messaging to appellant on February 27th, asking if she had any information and to not hesitate to contact him with. We are lovers. We're not pen pals. I have dyslexia. She can't stand the way I write. So my trip to Tennessee was a week in Florida and heaven, if you know what I mean. Hey, Laurie. She brought a typewriter of her cottage cheese factory money. She's going places. It was sliced cheese she hid. She's not a moron. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. And as soon as she wins her appeal, we will move in together. Appellant has attempted to contact Mr. Adams via inmate messaging 5 times and sent 2 handwritten letters to his office in efforts to receive status of her appeal and to confirm receipt of her correspondence to ensure his representation was and is still active. From no response from him. She's getting worse at spelling. To the present date of this inquiry, appellant has not received any type of response or correspondence in any form or manner from Joshua E. Adams, nor has any of her 9 third-party representatives on her behalf via email or phone calls, which goes directly to his voicemail. Ongoing 7 months, appellant has received 1 message from her court-appointed appellate attorney, JEA. Appellant was recently made aware by a third-party representative that the court issued an order on June 13th with a 20-day due date, requiring an initial brief be filed or her appeal may be dismissed. Due to the complete lack of proper and effective communication from a court-appointed appellant attorney, the appellant's appeal is now in jeopardy. Well, I think that's in jeopardy because it's you. The failure of an appointed attorney to perform duties or communicate with their clients cannot be held against the appellant. Dismissal of an appeal under these circumstances would be an obvious denial of her due process and effective assistance of counsel. See Pollen v. State. See also Edge v. State. Appellant further invokes Douglas v. California, which guarantees the right to counsel on a first appeal as of right. And Anders v. California, which outlines the duty of appointed appellant counsel to support the appeal or withdraw following proper procedure, neither of which has been followed here. Appellant respectfully requests this honorable court to please advise and take notice of these violations and to either compel court-appointed appellant attorney, JEA, to fulfill his legal duties and communicate immediately or appoint new counsel capable of necessary communication and representation and inclusion of the appellant. Dated the 24th day of June. Sarah Boone. Gainesville Lowell correction. Or as I call it. It is heaven, heaven to touch your little pink shorts straddling a bush. You're heaven to me, heaven, my girl. You stood there, hung over, but I saw your legs. So again, her bad luck with attorneys continues. No one ever talks to Sarah, contacts Sarah, or listens to Sarah. But luckily for us, she is great content. Drunky Bear. I'm not saying she's the sexiest woman alive, but I've never seen anyone sexier than her. There might be someone in Uganda somewhere that I haven't seen. But that was a Sarah Boone update. She is being shafted by her attorney one more time. Oh, I'm sorry. Another thing we can do, because again, it's a nothing stream. Yes, the bush squatting. Well, it was more straddling than squatting. Why do you think I was in Tennessee? You didn't meet me down there. I was in Gainesville, Florida, helping with some plumbing, if you know what I mean. But we all know Shannon with one N, and I'm dyslexic, but I still can't make any. How do you spell Shannon with one N? There must at least be two in there. But Shannon Burgess, the pursuant of a degree, have now disappeared from the Aperture website. His former profile is coming back as a mistake that it's or they can't find it, but he still appears in some of the pictures. So if or not he's fired, I don't know. Maybe he went back to school in pursuit of a new degree. 17 years is a long time. Maybe he want to finish it. But that's the news that was with Shannon Burgess, that he still haven't found the N that he at least needs in his name, and he has been removed from the website of Aperture, which I think is BS, because that man made them at least $200,000, because the state of Massachusetts paid them $450,000. He must at least have done enough for $200,000 of it. They could keep him on while he was pursuing his degree. No song about Sarah is complete without a verse about her socks with batteries she fights to hide. There's some law I don't have. Maybe he got his degree and he left for a better job. Maybe he found the last N and he said, I have two N's in my name. Hey, Nunya. Maybe he got a scholarship. He could be the new DA in Canton. Did you see Turtle Boy's list on Twitter? No, I did not. Well, because it got stuck in your brain. Well, 6,000 miles, but do you know what else? I'll fly a long way from some. Those 30 seconds, let me tell you, she knows a trick with some cheese. Hey, Jasmine, how are you doing? I thought Welcher said that bill was only for his office. No, it was for Aperture. But talking about Massachusetts, because no day is complete without another crazy thing out of Massachusetts. I saw this case pop up a few days back, I think on the weekend. A Massachusetts police officer shot in armed confrontation face armed assault to murder other charges. And you think, oh, that's bad. What goes on? Well, apparently this young lady, who is a fellow cop, was being served a restraining order and got shot by a fellow cop. Allegedly, she was brandishing a weapon. We'll get into that more when we read the article. And the reason why I wanted to pick it up is because she has attained Aidan Carney's lawyer, Bradl, as her defense attorney. So that's why I thought that's a little tie-in. And of course, we will get commentary from our own special court reporter in the end. But a North Andover police officer who was shot by a fellow officer during that what official calls an armed confrontation is facing a number of felony criminal charges in connection with the incident, including armed assault with intent to unalive. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, 28, is also charged with 2 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Officials have not said what led up to Fitzsimmons being pew-pewed in the chest by another officer while being served a restraining order at her North Andover home. But the charges stemmed from the June 30th shooting when police showed up with a restraining order taken out by Fitzsimmons' fiancée. A defense attorney for Fitzsimmons, however, is strongly pushing back on the charges and claims by the fiancée. The probate court affidavit attached to the restraining order is full of hearsay and self-serving allegations, said Tim Bradl, an attorney hired to represent Fitzsimmons. Kelsey is a new mother who was manifesting symptoms of postpartum depression at the time of the incident. She needed help. She needed compassion, Bradl said in a statement. What she got instead was pew-pew, and now an appealing campaign to criminalize her in order to deflect accountability from the agency responsible for this botched response. Fitzsimmons has recently won her pew-pew license back after it was taken away following the birth of her first child and ensuing mental health struggles. The officer who pew-pewed Fitzsimmons hit her once and was described as a veteran of the force with more than 20 years of experience. Following the pewing, Fitzsimmons received medical treatment and was ultimately flown to the Boston hospital where she is in stable condition. She is still fighting for her life, Bradl said. It is not clear when Fitzsimmons will be arraigned on the charges. We intend to fight these charges with every legal resource available. This should never have happened, and it must never happen again. This is the overview. Who has saggy boobs? And again, we don't know what's up and down. We don't know. I haven't seen the affidavit. I don't know if one of the Wonder Twins in the back can find the affidavit so we can look at it. But what we do have is the immediate press release from Bradl's office, and he's the defense attorney. He tells the story the way he wants to spin it. The police will spin it another way. We know that. But I want to read it, and then I'm going to ask all y'all some questions, because when I read it, I was thinking, this seems a little weird. What's going on? She must have gone to court to get it back. I don't know. No, I saw that article, and then I saw this press release that can you send the letter from Bradl or the case number on it? It doesn't have a case number. Is this the case number? Oh, that's the wrong tab. That's the phone number, right? There's no case number on it. This is a press release. And let's just read it and then talk about it later. But notice this. Please do not attempt to contact the Fitzsimmons family. And you think that sounds reasonable. They just had a family emergency, so of course we shouldn't do that. Well, our local court reporter, wait a minute, Tim Bradl, didn't you call Lindsay Gitani a psychopath and a bad mom? You got a brand new picky client who appears to be both. What's up with that? Lol. Please don't contact the Fitzsimmons family. What happened to the Albert McCabe and O'Keefe families again? Maybe we should go picket this bitch's house since you're into that. This is how my very own court reporter, Krusty Panties, loses her mind today. This bitch's house. This bitch, you will learn, had signs of postpartum depression. This bitch just got shot. And because the hopeback you used to be friends with, who you tried to use against Aiden, got called bad names in court. Funny enough, you're not mad at all of us who calls you a bad mom, but you did give away 2 of your kids. But you call her this bitch. A new mother, shot in the chest, fighting for her life. Kate Peters can swing her compassion all the way up to this bitch. Yep. I don't say she's a cunt, but I don't think she's a real person. I think she's a hoe bag. Thank you, Unbalanced Equation, for the next haircut. Well, won't have one in a month, but then I'll be back. That's the phone number. Okay. Hey, before I go. But let's read it, because it is a little more complicated. Yes, that's the one I just read, Jemima. Thank you. It is a little complicated, and again, I haven't read the affidavit, so I don't know what the charges are based on either. She should get a job and cut down on the internet time by a lot. Well, she'll lose her disability, her EBT card if she gets a job. Come on now. So now Kate Peter is just going to target anyone who hires Tim Bradl. She's seriously unhinged. Didn't you see my video about how she lost her mind about that kid in California who hired Alan Jackson? That kid, recklessly driving, absolutely. But why is he being charged with murder when everyone else, and I believe it's 62 people who have died on that stretch of road, none of them have been charged with murder? That's overcharging. And this is one of the big problems we always talk about on this channel, overcharging people. But should he drive like an idiot? Absolutely not. I always say don't drink, don't drive. Remember, you're sitting in a potential weapon that can kill a lot of people. Treat it that way. Yes, if you saw my video this morning about her losing her mind again, she's now saying in a couple of weeks she will spill the beans on all the mistakes Morrissey did. Well, it's also a brand of nuts in Massachusetts. Yeah, absolutely ridiculously stupid, but it's still not murder in my opinion. And everyone has the right to hire an attorney. And if you have seen an attorney on TV who just got someone off where the entire state of Massachusetts was trying to get her in prison, I would hire that guy too, because he's a good lawyer. And even bad people hire good lawyers. But let's look at the press release. Regarding North Andover police officer Kelly Fitzsimmons retains the law office of Tim Bradl after North Andover police takes her 4-month-old baby, shoots her in the chest, and in concert with Massachusetts State Police and Essex District Attorney, charged her with serious crimes. Blah, blah, blah. They are glad that they are retaining her. He will represent Kelsey for all matters related to the life-threatening injuries she sustained after being shot in the chest by a fellow officer in the North Andover Police Department. She was shot in connection with the service of a restraining order obtained by surprise in an ex parte fashion by the father of a 4-month-old baby, seeking to take the child away from her. She was confronted by 3 men from her department, and in an instant, her baby, her job, and her future with her fiancé were all taken from her. We had hoped to address the details of this case solely in court, but a probate court affidavit full of hearsay and self-serving allegation was deliberately and wildly leaked, smearing Kelsey's name in the press. This was not an accident. It was a strategy, and we must set the record straight to assure future fairness for our client. So, color me surprised. Police and the court system in Massachusetts intentionally leaked an affidavit to get ahead of the case in the press. Again, I don't know anything about the case, but back when I was in politics, you always try to hide a bad story in an even worse story. So a cop shooting a off-duty cop is a really bad story. But if you can then put it on there that she was absolutely cray-cray and threatening to do all kinds of stuff and beating up other fellow officers, then it's not as bad as it was before. We'll have to try and see if we can find the affidavit, because it's going to be interesting to see what they put in that one. Yeah, probate court document. But again, we're talking about Massachusetts, where discretion and accidents are two things that happens all the time. Is this how it happened? That's messed up. Well, this is the defense side of the story. Remember this. They are telling their side of the story, and the police is telling their side of the story, and the truth is somewhere between those two poles. I just hope that at some point she will face justice in one of the many cases she has ongoing. Hey, Hannity. Yeah, you're a little late. We're already half an hour in, but you are welcome to stay. We covered that Boone Still haven't heard from appellant lawyer. And now we're talking about the Fitzsimmons case, where an off-duty officer was served with a restraining order and was apparently doing something, we're going to get to that in a bit, but was shot in the chest by another officer. And she is being represented by Tim Bradl, who is also representing Aiden Carney. So, of course, all the I Hate Turtle Boy people are now hating this woman. Don't think about it. Thank you for the stream this AM. Was a great stream. I didn't stream this morning. I'm thinking about my my videos. I'm trying to release videos every morning. YouTube likes it when we do videos. And you're watching them, so thank you all so much. And thank you for 6 months. That's 2/3 of a baby. We never had to leave Massachusetts for content. Well, we're going to talk some content before we end, because I'm struggling a little bit where I want to go after this one. But yeah, we'll see where we're going. We might shift to the center of America. The father must have gone to probate to get custody. Yes, that's and of course he have filed, and we know this. Anyone who's been through a divorce, it's never the good sides they talk about. My pleasure, Hannah. Welcome, welcome. Pigtail on pigtail crime. Yeah, but still, not much on any channels lately. No, it's because we just all got off the Karen Reed high, and everyone was kind of setting up for the Koberger, and I was looking at the Madeline Soto case. And then it's July. There's one case coming up next week, but I don't want to cover it. This relationship is legit. Well, 12 months, you're one of my longer relationships, Crispy. I could use some Florida man shenanigans, to be honest. Well, I'll give you when we're done reading this, I'll put a poll up to hear what you all think. Imagine shooting a new mom in the chest. Well, there might be a reason for something, but let's read it. Oi, Baker, looking slick today with a nice new haircut. And so, question: did you expect a not guilty word? No, I didn't expect that. I thought manslaughter would have been appropriate, but again, maybe involuntary. But manslaughter would have been appropriate in my book. You're telling time by how long someone is pregnant with a baby. You make my... Well, it's because someone had 9 months and that's a baby. And now it's just become a thing. Hey, Aaron C. We're going to read it. It's here. I don't know who Morphew is. Hey, 777, Texas. But back to what he's saying. Kelsey is a new mother who was manifesting symptoms of postpartum depression at the time of the incident. She needed help. She needed compassion. What she got instead was gunfire, and now an appalling campaign to criminalize her in order to deflect accountability from the agency responsible for this botched response. Instead of de-escalation, she was met with deadly force. So that sounds all well and good. But then we are going to get into the next 2 paragraphs. And listen to them, and I'm going to ask a question after. Police officer has a duty to assess the specific circumstances before responding with deadly force at the first sight of a weapon. That's... keep that in mind. Massachusetts law prohibits the use of deadly force against a person exhibiting only danger to herself. We will address the shoot first fallacy held by some law enforcement officers that the instant a gun appears, that the only response is to fire first. Other options such as move, create space, find cover are not adequately considered. We will also examine officer-created jeopardy, where due to inadequate training and or inappropriate response, an officer creates dangerous circumstances in a call that are in turn met by a deadly force police response. We will obtain any and all training records and prior incidents in such cases. We intend to fight these charges with every legal resource available. We will demand full transparency and follow every lead where it takes us. We will call out every contradiction and expose every lie. Yada, yada. This is just what defense lawyers say. But am I reading this correctly? She was brandishing a weapon. But she must have been threatening to unalive herself. Yeah, the article says that she just had her weapons license returned. So this is so she, and this is where the case to me is a little, because as I see this, there is an acknowledgement she was brandishing a weapon. And this is one of the things that the assault with deadly weapons. But was she saying she was going to use it on herself if they took her child? Is that why? That's the part I have a little. I find it a little hard to figure out what it was, because a gun appears. That's what they acknowledged, and but I read it as they are, as she is responding with deadly force on the first sight of the weapon and only a danger to herself. So that's the thing. I think it's kind of weird in this case. Hey, Sunshine. I'm sure they had their body cams. We don't know, and we haven't read the affidavit, but that has been circulated, but we can't find it. What am I talking about? I am talking about the officer Fitzsimmons, who was shot in the chest, while fellow officers were serving her with a restraining order. And she has retained Tim Bradl, Aidan Carney's lawyer. And this is the part that talks about what happened that day. She's being charged with a lot of assaults and attempted different things. She hasn't been arraigned yet, so we don't know the full charges. But she's a new mother who was manifesting symptoms of postpartum at the time of the incident. She needed help, but what she got was gunfire, and now an appalling campaign to criminalize her in order to deflect accountability from the agency responsible for this bot's response. Instead of de-escalation, she was met with deadly force. But he is acknowledging she had a weapon drawn, and potentially she was threatening to unalive herself. That makes it a little. That makes it. Yeah. Was she helped by the police? We have to wait for at least a year before they write the report on this one. Yeah. This is the Fitzsimmons case. I just heard shafted by her lawyer. Who's shafted by her lawyer? They had her committed for 12 hours. She had to have mental health visits. She was released from mental health to go back to work. Then this took place. Yeah, I've read something like that, but do you send someone into the loony bin and then take her back on the job, and then 3 officers who work with her, which means I don't know how big this police department is, but one of them must have known that she wasn't doing too well. And I don't know if they have anyone who can de-escalate things. In cases like this, things will blow up really fast. And she was brandishing a pew-pew. We have a lot of cases in America where people are waving around one of those, and they will get the lead diet. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think this part is the one where if she was doing this and yelling, if you take my kid, I do it, and they then pew-pew her, yeah, that's wrong. But if she was doing this, if you take my kid, I pew-pew you, then it's a whole nother can of worms. Well, she was only on a couple of hours hold. Yeah. Well, in some cases, they do just self-delete. Because have you ever tried to pew-pew someone who moves around in the leg or the arms? It works on movies. It doesn't work in real life. It's something that if you want to put someone down, you always go send a mass, simply because it's the most effective. It's the same with the snipers who can take off the head of someone. It works in movies. In real life, it's dirty, but you have to do it. Or maybe you don't have to do it in this case, but still, this is where you pew-pew someone, because trying to hit an arm flailing around, no, you just put it within the square on the chest. I think the father was an officer as well. Nothing is mentioned. Today we speak on behalf of Kelsey Fitzsimmons. She needs another voice to speak for her because she remains in grave condition in the hospital, as those with contrary interest are circling the wagons, leveling serious criminal charges and leaking their self-serving probate court affidavits in an attempt to discredit her as she fights for her life. We call on the public, the media, and all those who care about due process and accountability to watch this case closely and wait for all the facts to come out. Consider issue related to postpartum depression in young mothers and the use of deadly force by police when faced with those suffering from emotion or mental impairment. This should never have happened, and it must never happen again. That's the question, because again, pulling a pew-pew on an officer, especially when she is an officer herself, is also very, very, very weird that she would do that, because she knows what their response is going to be. Could it be a cop-assisted self-deletion? If she is depressed, as a person who have suffered from depression earlier in my life, you don't think clearly when you have the big sad. So could it be something like that? Maybe that's why she brandished it. Could be another thing. No, he was a firefighter. Thank you, Jemima. This is why I have the mod squad. They are so fast. Whenever I find something, they'll find more. Congratulations to firefighter Justin Alien and his fiancée Kelsey on their engagement. It's okay, Justin. We'll happily adopt Kelsey into the Team Red family, even though she's from Team Blue. We wish you both a lifetime of happiness. That's 40 weeks ago, so that's less than a year ago. October 2nd, 2024. It's a cute couple. But everything looks good on the internet. If she had a pew-pew in her hand, there's no arguing. To me, that'll be interesting to see how they will get past that, because if she's doing this, they can try and talk her out of it. If she's doing this, we can all say, well, they could just hopscotch, and no, they have a right to. And trust me, being deployed myself, when they do that to you, you go into a different mode. Serving her with a restraining order and taking her kid away, her husband had filed for a restraining order because she was postpartum. New details. Oh, this one has some of the court documents, or the things that were leaked in the court documents. Let's see what was there, because right now it's hard to, because we only have one side and half of the other side, and I don't want to be a crusty panties and just make up a story. Should share this one. New details about incident with police officer Kelsey Fitzsimmons 6 days ago. The 20-year-old was wounded in a shooting involving her colleagues after a court-ordered intervention at her home, prompting an ongoing investigation by state and local authorities. New documents has revealed that Justin Alien, fiance of North Andover police officer Kelsey, feared she would harm their infant son and self-delete. This concern led him to obtain a restraining order, which was served just hours before Fitzsimmons was viewed during an armed confrontation with fellow officers. I fear she will unalive the baby at any moment, he wrote in the application. Kelsey is threatening to take the baby far, far, far away for a long, long time. This is how she had spoken about unaliving herself in the past. And there's the picture. He also alleges that she punched her stomach repeatedly while pregnant, saying she would unalive herself and the baby. Alien, who also serves in the North Andover, alerted police ahead of time, warning them about Fitzsimmons' possible reaction. A judge issued the order at 4:31 p.m. on Monday, but 2 hours later, 3 officers arrived at her Phillips Brooks Road residence to deliver the court order. According to authorities, the 28-year-old was off duty at the time and became involved in an armed confrontation that ended where she was shot once in the chest. She was flown to a Boston hospital and then listed in stable condition as of Tuesday. Court document shows that Fitzsimmons gave birth to a son on February 16th. On March 9th, emergency responders were called to her home due to reported mental episode. She was involuntarily hospitalized for 12 hours and diagnosed with postpartum. The next day, she surrendered both her department-issued and privately owned guns. As a result, her license to carry was suspended, and she was placed on an administrative leave on April 30th. In May, she filed a request to have her license reinstated, citing her continued treatment under a psychiatrist and therapist. By June 18th, police cleared her to return from work and reinstated her license to carry. Authorities have not confirmed whether her firearms was returned. As of the day of the incident, she remained on administrative leave, according to Police Chief Charles Gray. The restraining order was prompted by an incident on June 28 in Maine. In the filing, the fiancé alleges that Fitzsimmons punched him multiple times in the face during a gathering with family and friends. He said he left the location out of fear and claimed she continued to act aggressively towards others after his departure. While intoxicated, she reportedly left Maine intending to retrieve her child, who was with the fiancé's parents. Fitzsimmons' parents eventually took custody of the baby. Multiple police departments was contacted during this time. I fear if she doesn't have me, she will unalive the baby because she has said she has nothing beside me, he expressed. He describes Fitzsimmons as a danger to himself, their son, and herself. This looks interesting. No, that's not interesting. The restraining order, effective until at least July 14th, also required Fitzsimmons to surrender any remaining pew-pews and stay away from his residence and the North Andover Fire Department. He's also seeking full legal and physical custody of the kid. That request is currently pending. Fitzsimmons joined the police department in May 24. She previously worked for the Essex County Sheriff's Department and graduated from Fisher College in 2020. At a press conference on Tuesday, District Attorney Paul Tucker confirmed that 3 officers, including a supervisor, was sent to serve the court-approved order. When one of the officers was escorting Ms. Fitzsimmons during the service of the court order, an armed confrontation took place. What? How? As a result of that armed confrontation, one of the responding officers discharged their weapon, which struck Fitzsimmons once. He did not specify where she was viewed and declined to comment on her mental health. The officer who discharged their weapon has not been identified but has served with the department for over 20 years. When asked if she was armed, Tucker stated that those details are still under review. Huh? Pending interviews conducted by State Police Detective Chief Gray noted that Andover police do not use body cam. Lucky for them. Tucker emphasized the dangers associated with serving restraining orders regardless of who is involved. We all also know that serving restraining orders, court-appointed restraining orders, are sometimes some of the most dangerous duties the police officers can cover, no matter who the object of that order is, he noted. He also confirmed that standard procedure during such court orders include retrieving any pew-pews at the home. A handwritten note in the court document obtained by VBZ warned officers in advance defendant is an officer with a license to carry. Plaintiff expressed concerns regarding defendant's reaction to being served. Mental health clinician Jeff Seitzel underscored the importance of emotional support after critical incidents. The more people process their feelings and deal with trauma, the healthier they become. BS. The case has drawn significant attention on X. Something is wrong in her head. Keep the baby away from his mom and he'll be gone. How do you know? This probably is good for the baby. How do you know? Whatever else is disturbing about this story, it is clear that the department has serious failures in the hiring process. Of course, into the dregs of society, who instantly finds her guilty. A few things after both reading the Bradl letter where he acknowledged she was having a weapon on her. But if someone is escorting her to retrieve, you wouldn't let her pick it up, would you? Yeah, I know they hate when they have to have body cams. I saw Colorado just said they would only allow opening and closing statements to be televised. I'm a little afraid this was a trigger-happy cop and she didn't have a weapon on her. Yeah, but Bradl kind of admits that she was carrying. Yeah, again, the problem is that when you read Bradl, she was holding a weapon in some way, form, or fashion, but she was only a danger to herself. But what does that mean? Does that mean that she was doing this? I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. A police officer could react really fast to that. Or was she doing this? If you do anything, I'll do this. We don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But when I heard blue on blue the other day, I thought, what the hell's going on? And then I read this, and now they have Bradl online. As I said, you have Bradl's version and the police version, and somewhere in between is the truth. But as I read it, he acknowledged that she was carrying a weapon in some way, form, or fashion. But yeah, we need to see if we can find the affidavits. I don't know either. Something is weird in this. again, if she was threatening self-deletion, probably shouldn't pew her. But again, if you have someone escorting her and she brings out a hole puncher, that's a different case. And if she was trying to have the police self-delete her, which we see also, she could have been doing this because she know what the reaction will be. We don't know. I just found it and saw Bradl was on it, so that's why I wanted to cover it. We won't know anything, and just like Krusty instantly hates the defendant because Aiden's lawyer is representing her, just as instantly will I say, I have to see more facts before I have any idea about what's up and down in this case, because this is a bit weird. Gotta go to bed, doze off because now it's Friday, 2:45. Get to bed. Get some sleep, and thank you for stopping by. You Aussies, I need to try and get better at getting up at 5 a.m. and doing my night show for you guys. Yeah, we need more facts. I put a poll up on the YouTubes because the only case I can see coming up right now is an honor killing. And I don't want to sit here and discuss religion because I don't discuss politics or religion. So I don't want to cover an honor killing. My first case I covered with Jamie back, I used to co-host with Dave, who invited me to do it and made me speak in English. And that case we covered got so effing boring that we switched to a case called the Bradl case, a pro se defendant in Illinois, I believe he was. Absolutely horrible case, but he's one of the biggest idiots on the planet. So it's actually, there's fun parts in it as well. Most people don't. I've grown like 16,000 subscribers since I covered that case, maybe even more. So it will be a fresh case for a lot of you. It's not that well known. But pro se, which means he has no lawyer, he'll do it himself. He's just an idiot. He has a weird fetish. I think he enjoys tormenting the family with what he did. It's a carjacking gone wrong, so they go home to a 77-year-old lady's house and robs it and does unspeakable things to her. She doesn't pass away at that moment, but does it. Why is everything so laggy? Does it some months later from a broken heart, as they say. But he has this weird thing when he's questioning her husband and her daughter, where you feel like, oh, he's bringing that back home. He wanted the pictures of her they took at the crime scene, and yeah, it's a really, really, really weird case. Bradl is, yeah. Well, he's not as dumb as Dale Brooks, but him and Dale Brooks. You should look up Morphew too. I don't know what Morphew is, but you can see what Morphew is. Well, that's just starting. He's just been arrested a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I know that, but that's not gonna hit the courts till years down the road. Feces eating maniac. No, he's not the feces eating maniac, is he? But thank you, Vilo, for 20 months. And hey, little D. Where is it? It's in Illinois. Well, and that's the thing I was thinking when I was sitting here this afternoon thinking, most of you don't know this case because I think I was the only one who covered it, and then MG Law covered it a little while later. But it's just a stupid case. Yes, I just read it. Just finished 5 minutes ago talking about that case. But more of you will happen. I don't think has he been arraigned so far? Mystic DNA, pretrial motions. When is it going to court? He was rearrested in June. Yeah, I know he talked about that. He's been held on $3 million cash-only bail and has been extradited to Colorado. That's not going to be in courts the next 2 years, I think. The Camelo case will be a couple of years down the road as well. Taylorship business for what? For attacking her lawyers or whatever? Is he German? Bradl? No. I'm not sure. He painted. Yeah, they didn't like him in prison. Yeah, that's the new thing. Colorado, apparently, according to Megan Fox, have made a ruling that only opening and closings will be shown. So if Morpheo is in Colorado, which it is, we won't see it. Sadly, that's how they roll, because don't look at us. We're going to do what we want to do. Anyone else going to be in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada for the weekend starting tomorrow? I'm not. I can tell because I am dog sitting the next week, so sadly I can't make it. Is it for Ronkel's meetup? I saw that Burkhardt is coming up there as well. So if you're going to that, you must slap Ronkel on his behind and said, "This is sexual harassment." Yeah, but Marissa has tried to reach out to the Sinclair group again, and the charges are just—it's financial. It's nothing. It's boring stuff. But Marissa have tried to reach out to Sinclair group so I can get permission to stream it, so I don't get hit on my channel again. Manhattan trial for Melody Hoffman unaliving, new trial date set for September 15. If you have any cases on the horizon, and you don't have to give me, hey, have you heard about Courtney Clenny? Have you heard about Corey Richards? But if you hear something interesting that might be shown on Fox 4 that only you know because you live in Arizona, and it comes up, let me know about it. I love having those small weird cases. The Bradl case, as I said, found it weirdly somewhere and no one else covered it because it just popped up. It's a short case. I think it was like a week, and I like those kind of cases. I like in and out. These cases that take 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I'll burn out with them. But so if you know them, there's a place on the Discord where you can share links. Just tag me at it because else I don't see it. No, that case is boring as hell. She just took the stand today. It's so boring. And she yelled at the defense or the prosecutor. I've been watching it. I also watched the part of another one with I can't remember the name. It sounded like they were having court in a cathedral. It was unbearable to listen to. I've been looking at these cases, but it's not interesting. My new camera looks great. Well, I've had this camera for 2 years. My new camera is in the baking studio. But I think that would be it for today. In an hour and 30 minutes, you should all go watch the expert talk about the floods in Texas, where he might be guested by our own Zach, who has been near and helping with the cleanup of it. So I'm going to send you all to the experts channel so you can set a notification so you can go and hear how it really is on the ground in the flooding in Texas. Okay, but there's just a new ruling today that Megan Fox talked about on Twitter that they only showing openings and closings. I don't know. But maybe, but it won't be for a long time. Remember, 3 o'clock Eastern, the expert will talk about the floods in Texas with Zach, who is a local. Please go and support it.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this one.
I forgot to take my own poll down. I'm such an idiot. Should we watch the Bradl case? 67% says yes, 32% says no. We can watch it at 1.25 speed. See you all later.
Exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody is.
So there.